Can you afford a house as a single woman? Yes. The answer is yes, you can do it. All right. There's just sometimes there's got to be creative ways to get there. So, first, I want to talk about there are programs that are available for first time home buyers, for second home buyers, that can give assistance when it comes to buying a house. You can do, where it covers the full down payment. So, you can do as little as 3%. You can do, well, clarification, the down payment can be as little as 3% if you're a first time home buyer. Most people do around 3.5, depending on the loan type, what we need, right? Um, and there are assistance programs that will cover the down payment. They'll cover a portion of it, or they may cover the whole thing, and they may cover the down payment and a portion of your closing costs. The best thing for you is going to be what is best for you. So there are some people who will not do down payment assistance because they want the lowest rate possible. So they will use their own funds. There are some people that will do down payment assistance because maybe they don't have a ton saved and they don't want to use all of their money. They want to be able to save stuff for when they get into the house. So they'll do down payment assistance, even if it comes at a higher interest rate. So it just depends on what's going to be best for you. So those are things that you can begin to think about, like what's most important. Do I want to save up as much as I can? Or do I want to, save up enough, but then, afford a higher mortgage, right? So these are things that you can think about to help prepare you. Now, when we talk about down payment and closing costs in this market, so it's January 2026 in this market, a lot of times sellers are giving money to help with closing costs. But what I will tell people is don't depend on that, right? Don't depend on that, because if you're depending on someone paying that for you, you're going to be thinking about, okay, I'll get my closing costs covered. You may not, because if that house is a popular house, or if the seller doesn't have the margins to be able to give to you, then that's not something that is guaranteed. That's not something that you're going to be able to get. So it could be that you fall in love with the house, but now you were banking on seller credit and they can't give it to you, right? So you want to make sure that you don't bank on it, but it is something that is pretty popular right now in this moment. So what I will tell you is that if you're saving up, a good percentage is about 3.5% for the down payment, 3 to 4% for the closing costs, and that's 4 to 5% for the closing costs, and that's going to be percent of the purchase price. So if you're looking at a purchase price of 200,000, that's for easy math, right? Then you're looking at 7,000 for the down payment, and you're looking at 8 to 10,000 for the closing costs. And this is assuming you bring all the money yourself. But again, there are programs out there that'll help you with the down payment. There are programs that'll help you with the closing costs, not together, right? And then also, if you're a veteran, there is no down payment. So all these great things, and so this is a video talking about ways that you can save money. Of course, tax return time. I always tell people, if you are getting a tax return, put that to the side. That is something that you can use. And if you have it to use, and you may not even have to use it, but it's still something good to keep to the side, right? Other ways can be, like we had talked about before in our previous one, is income. If you're trying to use, maybe you make enough money, but you're just trying to save up, there could be side jobs that you do to try to help you save that additional income and put it aside to do it. So a good way is to figure out how much you think you'll need, and then make a goal for yourself, right? So if you say, I'm going to need $6,000 because I already have some, maybe I just need $6,000, and you're like, okay, I want to do that by the end of the year, $500 a month. Okay, what can I do? What can I sacrifice for $500 a month? Maybe I don't get my nails done every month. Maybe, figure out where your sacrifice is, right? Because for me, when I was doing it, I was sacrificing. I was skinny on the groceries. I made sure where I was getting the little $10 10 for 10 vegetables at Kroger's. I was skinny on my groceries. I limited my going out to eat. So to the point where my friends were like, Ange, we really want you to go. So we'll buy your dinner. I'm like, oh, thank you. Because I was committed. And this is when I was trying to pay down my debt. I was committed to using everything to aggressively pay. I called it my year of sacrifice. I was aggressively paying off my debt. So those are things that you could think about. Like, what is it that you can forego that could also go there, to where you're like, okay, we're just going to save up. And you'll be surprised about how quickly stuff starts to save up when you're moving that over. Maybe you don't get Starbucks every day. No judgment here, because I love a good Starbucks. You know what I mean? But like, those are things that add up that you don't even realize it. So you could really go through your bank statements, your checking account, and just kind of see what you're spending your money on. Look at your credit card. What am I spending my money on? Is there something that I can cut out? Maybe I'm not going to brunch every Sunday. We all love a good brunch, but like, sometimes it might just be like, do brunch at the house, right? But these are things that are going to help you. I've had people get down payment money by selling dogs, right? They had a dog that they would sell puppies anyways, but their dog was pregnant. They were selling the dogs, and they were like, we're going to use this for the down payment. I've had people sell, I've had someone sell a car. It was an extra car that they had, and when you're doing that these are things that you might think of. Like, I saw someone recently, selling a pair of Louboutins on their Facebook page, right? So it depends on if you have something that you might be able to part with. That could be another way to generate income, right? So these are different things that can help you. And if you are saving, if you're in the saving stage, we're not going to have to see where that money comes from. But if you are in the stage where you're getting ready to buy, let's talk through those things before, so that way I can tell you what you would need to keep track of, right? So for example, if you're selling a car, we're going to want to see, all the receipts, right? We're going to want to see the transaction. We're going to want to see the receipts. We're going to see the deposit, like the check that you got that put into the account, all these different things. So, and that's because they want to see where the cash is coming from. So that's just something to keep in mind, to be mindful. Another thing that people will use for savings is a gift. Sometimes people will have very generous family that is like, hey, I will give you $10,000 to go towards your buying a home. That's allowed. We will take it. You know what I mean? Another thing that people will use is retirement income. A lot of people don't realize that they can use retirement. The 401ks. That's what I mean. The 401k retirement, they can use that for down payment and closing costs. So most 401ks, not all, will allow you to use it for the purchase of a home without penalty. So that's something to consider as well. So there's a lot of different ways that can help you get to the savings goal. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out. I'm here to help. And of course, we got to end it with my girl.